This is Ethics and Social Media for Dr. Calasil, NBA 609. My name is Mark Dodson. Our first question concerns what is social media? It's any forum used to share information, news, or opinions that is accessible by many users. Such examples are Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter for websites, and then you also have blogs and internet forums. In this case, communication is multidirectional. You have many broadcasters transmitting information to many recipients. How does that compare to traditional media? Well, in the traditional media, communication is one way, and it's controlled by the people who have the equipment and the tools. You have one source going to many recipients. TV, radio, newspapers, and magazines are all examples. I've put here the slogans and the mottos of the New York Times, CNN, and Fox News. Keep those in mind throughout this presentation as we discuss whether they are actually, in fact, more important now than ever than in the digital age. We next have to ask ourselves, why is social media important? Essentially, it's a race to see who can have the most followers to their website or their media outlet. Online services have several advantages over traditional media. The first of which is reach, where any person in the world can really log on and read anything that is online. You don't have to be a subscriber to a newspaper or in that TV market. And that leads us to accessibility, where, again, anybody with a computer can read anything online. Another factor is usability. There are no special skills required to be a broadcaster online. You don't have to go to school for TV or journalism as you would if you worked in those fields. Again, all you have to do is be able to upload your content online. Another factor is the recency of your content. If a newspaper is published daily, its news will be old compared to what is online. Online, you can always go update it immediately. The information is instantaneous. All you have to do is link to an existing page or story that is online. You can't do that in newspapers. And the final one is permanence. A newspaper can't be edited after it has been published. A TV show can't be recut after it has been broadcast. All you have is what has been put out there. Whereas on a website, it's a flowing process. You always can go back and edit what is there, and that is where a lot of the problems come in online, as we will see. Let's take a quick look now at some of the media numbers for CNN, Fox News, and CBS News. One thing to keep in mind is just how much interaction is done between the broadcaster and the recipient. Online, you have a lot more engagement by the visitor, more so than you would on TV, where they might just have it on in the background. You really can engage your fans and your followers via Twitter and Facebook more than on TV. Now, why is all this important? Well, we saw the power of social media sites on June 25th, 2009, when a lot of worldwide websites either experience a rush of visitors or an overload of their online system. Twitter had a crash of its server in the afternoon, and Google thought it was under attack because of the rush of visitors. What was the reason? Well, we all know it was Michael Jackson's death. Here we have a side-by-side comparison of Yahoo Analytics and Google Trends, where you can really see the increase in the number of people who searched online for the words Michael Jackson on the day he died. Just a large volume of people, and it shows exactly the impact that the internet can have as a communication tool. So as we saw in the case of Michael Jackson's death, there's lots of benefits to online resources for social media. Most people in the US were either at work or on their way home, and so they didn't really have access to a TV when they heard about Michael Jackson's death. Instead, they heard it via Twitter and Facebook from their friends posting it. And that's really what caused the large spike in people going online, is they had seen what their friends had said and wanted to verify the information online themselves. Now, we also see where the internet can be useful for news media in the Iran elections, when there was a censorship of the media by the Iranian government, restricting the access. So people went out in the streets themselves and they reported via Facebook and Twitter, and really the volume was larger than that of Michael Jackson's death, about 220,000 tweets per hour concerning Iran. It also is important in the cases of Amber Alerts, where time is of the essence, and the law enforcement officials rely on the public to help them. Twitter.com/Amber Alert is very effective in the tracking down of missing or abducted children. You also see where CNN got involved in using the public to its advantage in their iReport website, in which the public will upload videos or photos from their events when they are on the scene before a CNN reporter can arrive. You saw that in 2004 with the tsunami and 2005 terrorist bombings in London. But we'll also see how that gets CNN into trouble with their slogan, unedited, unfiltered news, when not necessarily all the information is correct. And that's when you have a situation like we did have on June 25th, when Farrah Fawcett and Michael Jackson both died, but there are also reports of Jeff Goldblum and Harrison Ford also passing away. Now, this news spread via Twitter and Facebook, and many consider it just a harmless rumor that nobody really took it seriously. But unfortunately, in Australia, a news station did take it seriously, and Channel 9 News spent a lot of its morning show discussing the tragic death of Jeff Goldblum. And the reporter cited unconfirmed reports of him falling to his death in New Zealand. Turns out the entire story had been a hoax that was spread via Twitter, but the reporter, in his judgment, didn't go confirm the facts. He had just reported it on the air. And so the moral of the story is, not everything you read online is true. You have to check your facts. CNN also got into trouble with a hoax when an iReporter uploaded a story that pop singer Rick Astley had died. And of course it turned out to be false, but a lot of people took it to be true because CNN is a reputable source. They call themselves the most trusted name in news. Unfortunately, the iReport section of the CNN website is the unedited, unfiltered part, and therefore nobody had really caught the fact that CNN had an erroneous report up online. You also see that false Amber Alerts take a lot of resources away from pursuing legitimate crimes, and they waste valuable time and resources for the law enforcement officials, and really they need to be checked before people report on Amber Alerts. So who's to blame for this? Do you blame the public? Well, not really. The people are not in a position of authority to confirm or nor deny reports that they see. They are not trained professionals. All we want to do is share information we see online with our friends, and that's how the rumors spread. Do you blame the social media sites? No. They're just there to facilitate communication. They do as much good as they do harm. So it really comes down to the media, who needs to maintain their journalistic integrity, and they have to keep in mind they cannot sacrifice the truth of the report just to be the first one to broadcast the report. So what can the media do instead? Well, a good ethical journalist will always confirm its sources before going public with the news. And even with the pressure from the social media outlets to be the first to report, news organizations cannot ignore the fact that they are professionals and they went to school for this and they are trained to track down the truth. So it asks the question, can these two sites coexist? Well, of course. Reuters uses it well when they send two reporters to the World Economic Forum. The first one was in charge of using the Twitter account to get information up immediately as it happened, but Reuters also provided a second reporter who would file a full detailed story that was fact-checked and edited, and therefore readers got the entire story and quickly. So where does that leave us for the future? Well, advances in technology, as we've seen with iReport, means that anybody can really be a reporter. This makes it easy for media to get lazy and to just pass along anything they see online, as we saw in the case of Jeff Goldblum in Australia. So that makes it more important than ever for the media to stick to its trained principles and ethics. They are the ones who are professionals, and the media is trusted by the public to be the authority on what is true and what isn't. Even though social media is a self-patrolling entity where news is quickly corrected if it is false, media cannot rely on this, and they must perform their due diligence by varying reports and confirming their sources. And speaking of sources, feel free to check out mine online, and remember, confirm your sources before you Twitter.